There are now 6 states with only one remaining abortion facility. Kentucky, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, South Dakota, and West Virginia each have just one abortion clinic operating within their borders. Missouri's sole remaining abortion clinic may soon close. It's in the midst of a legal challenge after the state's Department of Health and Senior Services inspections at the clinic discovered deficiencies, including multiple failed surgical abortions. And Arkansas may soon become the 7th state with one remaining abortion facility, pending whether its recent pro-life laws go into effect. Joining us now to discuss this trend and its legal repercussions is Steve Aden, Chief Legal Officer and General Counsel at Americans United for Life. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Catherine. Glad to be here.
First off, what do you think is behind this long-term trend of diminishing abortion facilities?
Well, first of all, Planned Parenthood versus Casey in 1992 was a Supreme Court case that said states have more authority to regulate abortion like any other outpatient medical procedure. A lot of abortion facilities just could not comply. They could not provide basic, safe and healthy environments for their patients, so they just closed or went by the boards. That's been a big part of it. Other large trends include the growth of the pregnancy center movement, alternatives to women who need them in a time like that. Most women who know there are alternatives and support choose not to have an abortion. And then, of course, there's the whole phenomena of sidewalk witnessing, sidewalk counseling, 40 Days for Life. The incredible presence of God's people in front of these clinics has made a huge difference. So I think it's a confluence of factors. But also, overall, there has been a real strong drop in just the demand for abortion. Culturally, we're more pro-life now than we have been since Roe versus Wade. And the abortion rate, the number of pregnancies that end in abortion in America, is the lowest it's been since 1972, the year before Roe versus Wade. So that's all very good news.
We often hear abortion advocates argue that having just one sole abortion facility is unconstitutional or an undue burden. What's your response to that?
Yeah, my response to that is that actually you have kind of Darwin working against you for, because the last abortion facility in one of these 6 states often tends to be the worst one left standing. So I'll give you an example. In Mississippi, you have Jackson Women's Health Organization. Until recently, there were 7 abortion facilities in Mississippi, and they closed one by one for nefarious reasons. One of their abortionists was a convicted child molester. Another one lost its license because of malpractice, and so forth and so on, until you get to the last one, Jackson Women's Health, which is so bad, it was sued recently by a former abortionist who sued his prior employer, the owner of Jackson Women's Health, and alleged that she had created an unsafe abortion facility. That's just one example. In Mississippi, 2/3 of all women in that state go out of state to get an abortion, even though 2/3 of all women live in Jackson.
It's that bad. It's bottom of the barrel.
Right. And so, contrary to what the abortion industry would like you to know, the last abortion facility left standing is often the bottom of the barrel. Women deserve better, much better than that.
The Missouri case is particularly interesting because there's this sole abortion facility remaining, but it failed a health inspection. What should we know about this case?
The thing you should know about Planned Parenthood St. Louis is that it has sent over 70 women straight to the emergency room in the last 10 years. And that's coming from an industry that says in all of its court papers that abortion is safe, that complications are rare. The truth is it has sent over 70 women straight to the hospital from that Planned Parenthood in St. Louis over the last 10 years. That's awful. Women deserve good health care, not butchery like that. And so I'm hopeful that the health authorities in Missouri can do their job and that the courts will let them shut that awful place down.
Absolutely. And Arkansas might soon follow suit and be the 7th state to just have one abortion facility.
And it may. And that's another example where Planned Parenthood in Arkansas claimed that it couldn't comply with a transfer agreement requirement, meaning that abortion facilities had to be able to directly transfer a patient to the hospital in an emergency situation, like those over 70 women in Planned Parenthood in St. Louis. Now they're even fighting basic outpatient health and safety regulations. They're saying, well, we don't need to be able to admit a woman to the hospital, even though their sister corporation in St. Louis has sent over 70 women to the hospital in the last 8 years. And our publication, Unsafe, chronicles thousands of abortion center health and safety violations with hundreds of abortion facilities across the country. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
We're actually working on a sequel coming out next spring that we think will be even more explosive. The abortion industry is dirty, it's dangerous, and it's got to go. Women just deserve better.
Steve Aden, Chief Legal Officer and General Counsel for Americans United for Life. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.